Every year, there's about 15 to 20 games that do fall under the category of can't win them all. This probably should fall under that category. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome in to the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. The Mariners are shut out tonight, 2-0 by the Twins. They fall to 41-38 on the season. I believe they do still hold that final wild card spot in the American League. As always, before I go any further, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new or lurking, and don't forget to leave your comments on the team and the game down below. Win tomorrow, win a series, and we're good. Listen, it doesn't mean this game, I've broken record on these losses. Doesn't mean this game isn't frustrating. You faced a really good pitcher tonight in Joe Ryan. The offense has been humming. He got the better of you. George Kirby threw the ball pretty well. Willie Castro found a hole on a base hit, and the Twins added on another run later. You weren't going to get another run off Duran. I always mix it up. And that Twins back into the bullpen, Varland, Jax, really good. And the Twins were not going to have an 0-7 homestand. They were going to win one eventually. Really hard to sweep a 3-game series, let alone a 4-game series. You got a chance tomorrow. Emerson Hancock did struggle last time, so I'm not sure how he'll pitch here. Simeon Woods Richardson has not been very good for the Twins, so tomorrow will certainly be more frustrating if the offense can't get anything going, but I am willing to throw this one away. Again, the Mariners aren't a team that's in a position where you can just throw away a lot of games, but they certainly weren't going to finish the year with just 37 losses. We knew some were going to come, and they're on a pretty good road trip here where they now stand at 4-2. In a difficult road trip here through 3 pretty decent teams. And going back to the Twins, not going to lose 7 in a row in a homestand. It's not a bad Twins team. They're struggling a little bit. They're in a tough patch. They're under 500. This is not the Rockies or White Sox here where an 0-7 homestand is very possible and you need to take advantage. But even against those teams, I'd say the same thing. If you win 3 out of 4, you're in pretty good shape. Good news is that George Kirby had probably his second best start of the year behind that start in Anaheim. Threw the ball really well. Just couldn't get Castro, and you could kind of feel it coming. He threw so many pitches in that at-bat. Couldn't put Willie Castro away. Found a way to get the base hit. You could kind of feel it coming a little bit. Pizarro gives up the home run to Clemens. A shame because he's got 2 good strikeouts to start that inning. Thornton threw the ball well in the 8th inning. That was encouraging. The offense was frustrating. I'm not going to say that the offense, whatever, but they've scored 47 runs the last 6 games. They're going to have some clunkers. I mean, Cal struggled today, couldn't get anything locked in. The only guy that really kind of had an okay game today was Randy with a walk and a base hit. Everybody else was pretty bad. The Mariners only get 3 hits, 1 walk. They did reach on a couple errors. And I think Julio was also reached twice. He had a single and was hit by a pitch. But yeah, I mean, Joe Ryan's throwing the ball really well this year. Sometimes good pitchers, sometimes they beat you. I feel like I'm just throwing this one away. Again, it's a loss that, if they lose tomorrow, I know even then, tomorrow's loss would just be frustrating. This isn't like the Giolito game against the Red Sox where game 3 just may be more bad about game 1. This, not comparing Joe Ryan to Garrett Crochet, but this is more that game. You ran into an ace, and he was just better than you were today. And like I said, with that Twins back into the bullpen, you probably weren't going to get them again, today. The good news is, Jax has pitched back-to-back games. So is Varland. Duran has pitched 3 out of the last 4. I would imagine that some of them will be good to go for the Twins tomorrow. I'm sure they want to get back on the right track. But there's a chance that their bullpen might be in a little bit worse shape tomorrow than it, was today, certainly. And the Mariners should have their guys ready. So if Hancock runs into trouble tomorrow, should be able to, find a way to turn it over to your relief aces, your Spires, your Vargases, your Brashes, your Munozes, and hopefully, find a way to get a W. Really, some games, there's just a lot to talk about. There's deeper meanings to them. It's like an episode of your favorite TV show. Sometimes the episodes have really deep meanings. Sometimes they're just episodes. I think this is one that there's not a lot of deeper meaning. It's just an episode. Good news is, like I said, George Kirby looked a lot better. Looks like he's finally kind of starting to settle in a little bit, getting back from the injury. And again, going forward, that's more important because actually I saw a stat today, since the middle of May, the Mariners starters are 29th in WAR. I think F4, I'm assuming F4. I actually didn't see which one it was, but either way, it's, B WAR, F4, doesn't matter. It's not great for starting pitchers. So good to see, Wu pitch really well this series. Kirby today, Logan was outstanding, or not outstanding, but solid in Chicago. So hopefully that's starting to come together because over the course of the next, what are we at now? 83 games, 82 games, whatever it is. That's going to be really important for the Mariners to get those starters back locked in, uh, you know, uh, to help carry this team. Because even though the offense has been good, a little streaky, but overall good, still really need that pitching locked in. Let's go ahead and dive into the box score here. George Kirby, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. It was earned, 1 walk, 3 Ks. Um, again, it would have been nice to get Willie Castro out in that at bat. But even there, like Buxton, base hit up the middle. Byron Buxton's a really good hitter. He's stealing second. Larnach grounds out. Could have been a double play ball if Buxton stayed put. He gets into second. Solano steps on the bag, and then Castro has a good at bat. The longer those at bats go, you kind of feel advantage hitter. And listen, Kirby's not again, I say all the time, like he can get strikeouts, but he's doesn't have like a huge swing and miss pitch. It doesn't have like that Munoz slider, the Gilbert splitter. I'm like, dude, you got to go to this and punch him out. Castro hit it hard. I don't want to say he just punched it through. It was hit like 107, but it was 96. It was in a little bit, and Castro just turned on it. Castro's killed the Mariners this year. So is Clemens and Trevor Larnach. So, it happens. It happens. Pitching was fine. Bizzardo through the 7th inning, gave up the home run to Clemens. It was frustrating because you want to get Clemens out there. You had 2 outs on 2 strikeouts. Not saying the Mariners would have rallied, but 1-0 against the Twins bullpen. Hey, maybe someone couple bloops fall in. If you got first and third, nobody out, and you ground in a double play and you tie the game. But when you get down 2-0, it just makes that comeback, mentally a little bit tougher. Bizzardo's also pitched a ton recently. I think that's a case I talked about a few nights ago where Dan's got to use, I'm not saying you should use Munoz tonight necessarily, but more in some of these spots where you're down by a run because you've got Bizzardo who's pitched like 9 out of the last 12 games or something, and Munoz has pitched twice in the last 2 weeks. Needs to be balanced out a little bit more than that. I thought Trent Thornton looked good, in the bottom of the 8th, shutout inning with the strikeout. So since Chicago, he's looked a lot better. Actually, I think since coming back from the IL. No, he had that really bad game against Arizona. But other than that, he's looked better. I will not be back on the Thornton train. As soon as I do, he lets me down. But if he's used in games like this, I mean, it's that last guy in the bullpen who really cares all that much. Zach Pop, Trent Thornton, they're all kind of the same guy to an extent. So a nice inning there by Thornton. Not much to talk about with the lineup. JP scuffling a little bit. He was 0 for 4. He's quietly in a little bit of a cold streak, and with the offense outside of today playing much better. Listen, Julio, base hit. It was an infield hit and a hit by pitch on base twice. That's more than anybody besides Randy can say. So, Julio was fine, I guess. Cal had a tough day today. I will say that strikeout in the 1st inning was an atrocious call. Not only was the pitch low, it was inside, and the ump was blocked. So I don't even know how he was able to call that a strike. And listen, never say the umps are the reason the team lost. It was in the top of the 1st inning. That does change the outcome of the game a little bit, though, right? Because you had Julio was on first after being hit by a pitch. It was a 2-2 pitch, not a 3-2. It was a 2-2 pitch to Cal. So we don't know what he would have done in the at-bat. But if that's called a ball correctly, it's 3-2. One, it forces Ryan to throw a couple more pitches. It's a pressure pitch now because you got a good base runner at first. You've got a really good hitter with a full count. You don't want to walk him there because now you got first and second. Who knows? It may have changed a little something. And the Mariners hit the ball hard in that 1st inning. Polanco had the line drive at 111. Crawford's fly out to start the game was, I think, 103 to dead center. It was probably their best contact of the game, really, that I remember at least. So, again, the Mariners offense didn't do anything, but a call early on that definitely had impact on the game for sure. Polanco was 0 for 4, OPS down to 735. Boy, I would move Polanco down. I'd rather see Luke or even Randy or even Solano right now. He didn't do much today either, but I'd rather see guys like that get the at-bats right now and, can zone more DH at-bats, stuff like that. So, Polanco was getting hot. Listen, I think he had the hardest hit ball of this game, but overall just scuffling a little bit. Randy, 1 for 3 with a walk and a base hit. Luke Raley was 0 for 3. He did have a pretty crucial at-bat in the 7th. Randy walked against Varland to lead off. Luke got it to a 3-2 count and struck out. There was a 2-1 pitch in that at bat where Luke just couldn't lay off of a splitter or slide or something down. Varland's really good, so I get it, but he lays off that pitch. Maybe a walk there in first and second, nobody out. Maybe something happens. Who knows? Solano was 0 for 2. Canzone pinched hit 0 for 1. Cole Young had a hit, was 1 for 3. Master Boney was 0 for 3. He did have a couple good at-bats early on, worked the count. It wasn't rewarded for him or anything, but two of the better at-bats I thought today came from Master Boney against Joe Ryan. Not much else to talk about. Win tomorrow, win a series, right? I'm looking for something else to say here, but there's really isn't a whole heck of a lot. I'll be more frustrated they lose tomorrow. But again, even a loss tomorrow isn't like the end of the world. I did say a split was okay after winning the first two. You'd love to get the series here. But you have won the season series against the Twins. We'll say it would be nice too to beat the Twins, because that's another team. Talk about Baltimore and Arizona teams you'd like selling. The Twins are another team that you'd like to have selling at the deadline. Willie Castro would be an interesting addition. I feel like I have a sneeze coming on. Oh, gosh, but I don't want to pause the video. Ooh, I hate those. They've got some really interesting bullpen pieces. If Hancock struggles, I don't know, maybe Bailey Ober's available, something like that for a back-end starter. So I will say, root for the Twins. Twins, Orioles, Diamondbacks are teams you want to lose. White Sox, Rockies, Marlins just don't have a ton. There's a couple interesting bullpen arms there. I will always be intrigued by Luis Robert, but he's kind of sucked for 2 years. These are the teams I'd watch. So not only would winning be nice because it will help the Mariners win, but you could get the Twins a step closer to, maybe selling a little bit. So hopefully bounce back tomorrow. That's all I've got. Like, comment, subscribe. Love y'all. Members, I will be live Saturday. We'll do a live stream Saturday. Let me make sure I have no work things. I shouldn't say that prematurely. And then tomorrow I will do a couple immaculate grids for you guys. So I'll have those up tomorrow as well for channel members. So just got home late today. Didn't have a chance to do the live stream today. So just be on the lookout for that. Think about becoming a channel member. We have fun in the streams, hang out, talk ball. It's a blast. So like, comment, subscribe. And as always, go Mariners.